Hey kids, it's Champs here. I'm with Briggsy on the coffee run and we're about to talk all things umpiring in AFL.
How you been, mate? Well?
I've been really good. I've been busy actually. I've got a new little venture which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But yeah, still loving Queensland. Been up here for about 27 years now.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome. And you moved up from South Australia?
Moved up from South Australia, a little country town initially, but then played for Woodville in South Australia and got drafted to the Brisbane Bears as we were back then and played for 10 years.
They played at Carrara there and it's obviously been upgraded a bit to Metricon Stadium now. So
Metricon's amazing now. I commentate the footy there with Triple M and look forward to going every second week. Yeah, vast contrast to what it used to be. And obviously with the Commonwealth Games precinct there now, it's amazing.
That'd be huge. Mate, you played 183 games for the Bears and with the Lions. And obviously a bit of a superstar through the football and in the roles that you play now as far as your MC work.
Yes.
Yeah, what else do you do?
Well, I've just bought a business. This is that new venture that I spoke about, only 7 months old now. It's an employment agency in the cleaning and maintenance industry. So yeah, that's kept me busy. I've ventured into the small business sector, all going really well. Got lots of opportunity and lots of time to grow it, which is what I want to do.
Awesome.
So look, next year's really exciting. A couple of new little concepts I've got in mind, and so I'm doing that. That's my Monday to Friday 9 to 5er, and then commentating the footy on the weekends. A lot of emceeing, a lot of hosting. So just travel all over Australia doing that. So lots of variety.
I have seen you do a gig, and whether you call it a gig or not, up at Noosa Springs for a school event with Red Ogle.
Yes.
It's the first time I've seen you actually do some.
Right, okay.
Have you two blokes thought about going to Montreal Comedy Festival or something like that?
Not if we want to make any money out of it, no. The way I do it, look at it, Briggsy, is that I do enjoy entertaining. And if I'm up there in front of everyone having fun myself and having a laugh, I would think that everyone's having a good time sort of down in the audience. So that's how I like to look at it when I host things. And gee, there's been so many different facets that I've done over the years through conferences and sporting gigs and sporty lunches to very serious awards nights. So sometimes you've got to pull it back. You just judge your audience on what you have to do.
Get a feel of the crowd.
Yep, sometimes it's really serious stuff. It's very structured and very scripted, but other times you can just have a bit of fun, tell some jokes and have lots of fun.
Famous for Jimmy Barnes impressions as well, I believe.
Well,
can we hear a bit of
can we hear a bit?
Man or something?
No, that wasn't on my run sheet when I got that from you. What are you talking
Not
about?
part of the contract, was it? Sorry about that. I'd like to spring a few questions up.
Look, that come about. I was a massive Cold Chisel fan, still am actually, because they still tour every now and again, and massive Barnesy fan. And everyone sings in the shower or when they're driving along in the car and all that sort of stuff. And it came about, and I sort of sensed to myself, I said, actually, you got a bit of a gravelly voice. You may sound a little bit like Barnesy. So it came about like that, and a couple of teammates were out on the having a few drinks one night, and they said, why don't you get up and sing a song with the band if they can do a Chisel song? I said, all right, I'll give it a go. So that's when it kicked off, and it hasn't really stopped.
Yeah, good stuff.
I think he's an absolute talent. He's an Australian icon, of course, and love it. So maybe towards the end we might do a little song.
See how you go. See how you loosen up. We'll get that coffee here and we'll see how it goes.
Sounds good.
Well, you also did Gladiators there at one point.
Wow, good memory.
Gladiators, the Oz Lotto, was it Oz Lotto, Gold Lotto?
Yeah, Gold Lotto. Still doing little fill-ins with that every now and again with Channel 7, the Great Southeast Show. I was with them for 14 years. So, done a lot of TV work, a lot of radio work as well. And the It Takes Two show.
That's right, yes.
Which was a singing show. It was like Singing with the Stars. It's like Dancing with the Stars, but it was singing. And I was partnered with Wendy Matthews, and we had a great time. That was like 13 weeks of bliss.
Yeah, cool.
Down in Melbourne, mixing with Guy Sebastian was on that one as well. Troy Casadale, Wendy Matthews, Dave Gleeson from the Screaming Jets.
He would have been crazy.
There was, he and I were the social directors of that crew, so we had lots of big nights out.
Because he worked on Triple M as well, didn't Dave?
He did, actually. Yeah, absolutely he did. So, and been really fortunate to do lots of different things.
Yep.
And I love mixing it up and, yeah, as I said, sort of entertaining people. And most of those things was all about the entertaining. The Gladiators thing was interesting. Again, that was 3 days of training and trying all the apparatus and having lots of fun with all the gym junkies.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, that was a sporting code scenario too. I was partnered up with Johnny Platten with that one.
Yeah, right.
So Johnny and myself representing AFL, and there was 2 rugby league guys, 2 rugby union guys, and Matty Hayden from cricket and Jimmy Marr from cricket.
Wow.
So you sort of get to meet the other sports people as well, and that's the fun part about those sorts of things, is you're interacting with guys from different sports.
Yeah, true. Now, we talked about Triple M a fair bit there, obviously with the commentary, and the point of getting you on the coffee run is to have a chat about the umpiring side of things. Now, I've noticed a lot lately, and whether you're aware of that as well, is a lot of the commentators, if the umpires tend to make a bit of a mistake, some of the TV guys, I've noticed probably more so, tend to have a bit of just work on their mistakes a bit too much. And that obviously would resonate down to the community level, to free-for-all. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, it's a good point. And being a commentator myself and having worked for the AFL for a fair bit, and knowing that you can't be too harsh if an umpire makes a mistake, because everyone makes them. Players make them. We can, and I even tend to pull back on criticising players too much as well, because I've been there and I know it happens. You have good days and bad days, and mistakes are going to happen. So I'm quite aware not to be too critical of players making mistakes. And it's the same with umpires. There's so many things happening out there that it's very hard to get all of them right. And I think it's probably more so just the really glaring ones that can be costly, where you might sort of make some sort of comment on it, but it's more of a generic one, and then you move on. But I can see how it could sort of play with the perception of people's thoughts and views on umpiring. It's probably hard enough to get umpires to umpire in the first place, let alone, when you're trying to promote to get, new kids on board, et cetera, et cetera. So,
and that's the thing,
fully aware of that. It's a tough gig. Yeah. I did a little, and the reason I know this is that I even done a little goal umpiring stint once.
Okay.
And it was like under 8s or 10s or something,
I thought you were talking big
minimal
time
as that. Not big time at all, but the point of my story was I found it hard enough trying to decipher whether his foot was across the line when he kicked it off the ground or whether it wasn't, and in the day I've just had a guess. So I just, from that point of view, and I used to umpire as a kid when I used to play as well, trying to earn some pocket money, as a lot of the kids do now. So I've been on both sides of the fence, and when I was running Auskick clinics and all that stuff, working for AFLQ, you sort of run around the kids, and you sort of, there's lots that could go 50-50.
Yeah,
it's like that. So you sort of gain that appreciation for how tough the job is when you've been in amongst it yourself, rather than just sort of sitting in the crowd and just abusing people for making potentially a blue. And it's like a lot of things in life. You're only going to please half the people.
That's right.
100% of the time.
That's right. I actually had a question come to me from our ex-game development manager many, many years ago, and he said to me, "So what do you think your perception is?" I was in the umpiring role back then as well. "What do you think your perception is from the general public?" And I commented and said, "Well, I reckon only 50% of the people like me." So, and it's true. That's right. You can't actually please everybody. What I have actually noticed, though, I was talking to someone just last night about the amount of young kids willing to get involved at the junior level. You think, I reckon that's a great thing. They're actually coming through, really keen, and you touched on before, they're keen to learn the rules. Makes them a better player, and it's one thing I always talk to those kids. You understand the rules, you can become defensive when you've given away a free kick, or your team has, and go on the attack when you've got the free kick. So being aware of what free kicks are there.
Spot on. I think that goes across all facets of sport and different sporting codes. If you can umpire or referee those particular sports, it does make you a better player.
And better confidence in public speaking, decision making, just in general life as well.
Well, you've got that authority, haven't you? At that point in time, you're basically in control of the game.
That's right.
And what happens and what decisions to be made.
Yeah.
So with that comes a lot of responsibility.
That's right. All right, champs, thanks very much for joining me on Coffee
Pleasure,
Run,
Briggsy.
or me joining you on the Coffee Run at least anyway, so great stuff. Thanks, buddy.
Cheers, guys.